Beck Chevrolet Studio Annex. This is Time Out Overtime on the Time Out Overtime YouTube channel. I'm your host, Rick Arsenal. And before we get started, if you haven't done so yet, get down there in the corner and smash that like and subscribe button. You will be doing me a huge favor. Uh, we'll end the show today with something, might say, controversial that Nebraska football coach Matt Rule said in regard to the college football new playoff format. He opened a bit of a can of worms, so we'll get to that. That'll be the last segment of the show today. So Tigers play tonight. Talk about them, but before we do, let's do this. Time Out Overtime is sponsored in part by Frank Beck Chevrolet and M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville. If it's time for a new to you vehicle, let the sales professionals at Beck's help you choose the right vehicle. New or pre-owned, Beck's has the top selection in the tri-state area with over 200 vehicles in stock. Stop by and see for yourself, and when you're ready, ask for Russ McMorty, Chris Hodis, Danny Smith, Adam Schaefer, Blake Bryant, Cameron Mincio, Bob Flynn, or Peyton Lucas. And when it comes time to service that new to you vehicle, let the service pros at Beck's fix it. They can't fix it. Any make, any model, Ford or domestic, Beck's can fix it. And if you have a bit of a crunch or fender bender, Beck's Body Shop can put it back together looking just as good as new. So for all your automotive needs, look no further than Frank Beck Chevrolet at M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville, 517-849-2886, or on the web at frankbeckchevy.com. Come and experience the Frank Beck difference. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. I will be reminding you, too, if you haven't done so yet, to, once we're done here, to go to your calendar and mark down Saturday, September 14th, which is a very special day here in Hillsdale at Frank Beck Chevrolet, as we honor the area's first responders. I'll be telling you about that in just a few minutes. Tigers play the Twins again tonight. They lost last night 9-3. And now with Kerry Carpenter and Riley Green, their two best hitters, both out, pardon me, indefinitely. They're 3 games under 500 now. They're 51-54. I doubt very much. It would have been nice to see them finish the season with a winning record, which means they would have had to win at least 82 games. And I think they could have done that. I think they could have achieved that goal if get the camera back in shape. If they could have stayed healthy. But now with the Reese Olson out of the rotation, the two best hitters gone, they're going to be hard pressed, I think, just to win 78 games, which I think is what they won last year. And that's too bad. You got to be concerned, too, a little bit about both Kerry Carpenter and Riley Green. Neither one of these two guys has ever got through a season in their young career unscathed yet. Oh, what it is about Riley Green's legs, but this guy can't stay healthy either. They're just like Kerry Carpenter. It's Carpenter's back and Riley Green's legs, but it looks like a chronic issue with both of them, and that's too bad. That's very disconcerting. Let's hope I'm wrong, but boy, I doubt very much we'll see Carpenter the rest of the year. As for Green, I haven't. All I know is he's on the IL right now. So, and like I said, once the Tigers are done tomorrow with Minnesota, they've got Cleveland coming in for 2 on Monday and Tuesday. They have an off day Wednesday and starting a 4-game series with the Royals on Thursday night. Now, Derek Skubal is pitching today. Game time about 6:10. Will this be his last start with the Tigers? I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. I don't. He's not going to get traded. Ergo, or therefore, his next start will be, pardon me, next Thursday night at Comerica Park against the Royals. This Ken Rosenthal, who was a writer for The Athletic, previously with the MLB Network, Sports Illustrated, very respected. You probably won't find any more respectable or knowledgeable baseball writer anywhere than Ken Rosenthal. Well, maybe John Morosi too. They're both good. And John Hyman and Joel Sherman with the New York Post. They're both with the MLB Network. I think those guys are all good, very knowledgeable, right on top of everything. As he said just recently, Tigers aren't going to trade Tarik Skubal. I got it. I need some water. Sorry. Boy. Been taking a little more honey in the morning and in the evening. That seems to help a little bit too. But anyway, what Ken Rosenthal said, I believe just yesterday, they're not going to trade Skubal, and he will be with them for the next 2 years. He'll be the ace of the staff. They're not going to extend him. His agent, Scott Boras, wants him to hit the free agent market 2 years from now. And so he suggested that the Tigers do all they can to try to make the playoffs the next couple of years. In other words, I think Jace Jung will be at third base next year. I would hope that they go out and sign a couple of free agent bats in the offseason. I'll be surprised if Carson Kelly, catcher, is not traded. I fully expect that he will be. And you will see Dylan Dingler up here from Toledo. Well, by the way, he's having a pretty darn good season for the Lead Hens. He hit his 16th home run of the year the other night. He's got an OPS of almost 900. He's had a very good season for the Mud Hens. Yeah, so I think he'll get his chance after the trade deadline. I would certainly hope so. Anyway, and I think Jace Jung will be at third base next year. Look, this is, as I said before, this is not an easy decision for Scott Harris. By the way, I neglected to mention this too. Las Vegas has made the Cleveland Guardians the favorite now to acquire Jack Flaherty. I haven't taken the opportunity to look at the Guardians' minor league system much. I don't know what they have down there. I don't think it's as prospect rich as it is the Orioles or the Dodgers. A trade has been suggested too, like the Dodgers. I still seem to think when it's all said and done, the Dodgers are the ones that are going to end up with Jack Flaherty. I just really, they've got a catcher. Yeah, they've got a left-handed hitting catcher prospect by the name of Dalton Rushing. Okay. You got to remember too, Jack Flaherty attempted to make a deal with the Dodgers last year at the trade deadline, only to have Eduardo Rodriguez step in at the last minute and nix the deal. It wouldn't surprise me to see him make another transaction with the Dodgers that would be successful this year. 1 for 1, give them Jack Flaherty. You'll take Dalton Rushing. I know catching is not a position of need right now, but with Dylan Dingler on the horizon, if you will. So we'll see. They're not trading Tarik Skubal, so you might as well forget that right now. That's not going to happen. And apparently the Dodgers don't seem very willing to part with any of their top prospects either. can't say as I blame them, but I just kind of think if you can get the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Orioles all involved in a bidding war for Jack Flaherty, maybe get something pretty decent or special for him. And you remember Scott Harris took this right down to the 11th hour last year, and it looks like he's going to do that again this year. Now, the Orioles, and in particular the Mariners, have been pretty busy so far, with the Mariners acquiring for a couple of prospects, Rays outfielder Randy Arozarena. He's got 2 years left on his contract. He has not had a particularly good year, but he's a good player. It's been a bad month for the Mariners. They are involved in a three-way tussle right now with Houston and Texas for first place in the AL West. They're right as we speak, they're a game behind the Astros. So they did make this. They gave up a couple of prospects for Randy Arozarena. Look, I don't know how good Arozarena is going to hit in Seattle. It's not a particularly good hitter's ballpark there compared to Tropicana Field. As I said, Arozarena has not had a particularly good season anyway. But and the Orioles last night did make another deal. They acquired a relief pitcher from the Blue Jays, Yimi Garcia. They acquired a relief pitcher, Yimi Garcia, from the Blue Jays, again for a couple more prospects. So they've been busy. And of course, the Orioles got Zach Eflin from the Rays. And he's not having a particularly good season either. In 19 starts, he's 5-7 with an ERA over 4. So if that's their solution to fixing their rotation, are they done yet? I don't know. But I have a feeling they're not going to part with any of their top minor league prospects. I think we can forget about that. Any other deal here? The Orioles, yeah, they did recently. They got relief pitcher Sir Anthony Dominguez and outfielder Christian Pash from the Phillies in exchange for outfielder Austin Hayes. Another deal that recently went down. There are some teams that have already been busy, but so far the Tigers haven't done anything yet. Nothing. No. Before we go any further, as I promised, I'm going to remind you about this special day coming up on Saturday, September the 14th at Frank Beck Chevrolet. Make sure you mark your calendars, as Becks will be celebrating their 9th annual Salute to First Responders. This year, there will be a special tribute to the Hillsdale County Sheriff's Department for all the obvious reasons. Bring the kids, let them get up close to emergency vehicles, meet police and firefighters, play games, and more. Enjoy a free lunch, sign up for prizes as we celebrate our area's first responders. Plus, there will be a poker run as well. So don't forget, that's Saturday, September the 14th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Frank Beck Chevrolet on M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville. Or on the web at frankbeckchevy.com. Stop by and experience the Frank Beck difference, particularly on Saturday, September the 14th, from 10 to 2. You better be there. And bring the kids. I promise you they'll have a great time. Great day for the family. Let's hope for good weather that day, and a very special day, again, as we honor our area's first responders who put their lives on the line for us every day. Okay. Before I get into what Matt Rule said too, I want to put in a good word for a good man who, as I've told you many times before, without his assistance, we wouldn't be able to do this. That'd be Tim Lindley at Quality PC in downtown Hillsdale at 37 Waldron Street. It's a couple hundred feet west of Howell. For all your technical needs and service, we don't have a better man in our area than Tim Lindley. Whatever your issue is, computers, new or used, Maybe the computer you have now needs a little tweaking. Maybe you just bought or are thinking of purchasing another or new flat screen TV. You need that mounted and programmed. You're changing internet providers. You need that hooked up. Printers, new or used, whatever it is. Get in there and see him at 37 Waldron Street in downtown Hillsdale. 517-610-5372. Or better still, get in there and see him at 37 Waldron Street in downtown Hillsdale. And when you do, please tell him Mickey and me sent you. Would you please? Thank you. Matt Rule, the head football coach. Oh, hey, before I get into it, let me take another slug of water here. Hang on just a second. Another good day today, weather-wise, but you see what's coming next week? That doesn't sound very good at all. It's going to be hot. It's going to be muggy. That does not sound good. I'm not looking forward to that. I don't know about you. I'm not looking forward to it. Matt Rule, the head football coach of the Nebraska Cornhuskers, said earlier this week he thought, in his opinion, there should be 4 teams from the Big Ten automatically included in the new college Division I football playoff format. As you know, there will be 12 teams involved this year. I want to share this with you. I thought it was pretty funny. An ESPN analyst Friday morning took offense to Rule's recent comments regarding the Big Ten Conference and his stance with the college football playoffs. I'm quoting Matt Rule here, what I was about to say. Quote, I think 4 teams from this league should get in every year because this is the best league. This is the NFL of college football. Close quotes. That from Matt Rule. He said that at Big Ten Media Days this past week in Indianapolis. By the way, did you see what the UCLA coach had to say at Big Ten Media Days? I found that very comical. He didn't seem real animated or enthused about joining the Big Ten. If you have a chance, see if you can get that up on YouTube. UCLA head coach's comments at the Big Ten Media Days. Anyway, getting back to Matt Rule, I just told you what he said. First of all, what about the SEC? You're saying you're telling us you think the Big Ten is the cream of the crop of Division I college football? You really, Matt? What about the SEC? Okay, let's look at this here for just a second. Let's break this down for a second if we can. Okay, you've got Ohio State, and you've got Oregon. You got Penn State, you got Michigan. What do you got after that, Matt? What do you got after that of the other 14 teams? In my humble opinion, you got nothing compared to the teams I'm going to tell you that are in the SEC. Listen to this roster of teams that are now in the SEC, and you tell me who you think the NFL of college football is. Alphabetical order, by the way. Here we go. Alabama, Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, LSU, Ole Miss, Missouri, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas A&M, and even Vanderbilt. And you're telling me you think the Big Ten is the creme de la creme, the cream of the crop of Division I college football, and therefore they should have it should be mandated that they have 4 teams in the playoffs every year? Here's what Paul Feinbaum, a man whose opinion I respect very much, an anchor for ESPN's SEC network, And he's the college football analyst at ESPN. Apparently, he was on yesterday morning, Friday morning, on Get Up, and implored the leader of the big red, leader of the big red being Matt Rule, told him to quote, "Stay in your lane," unquote. That's Feinbaum's message to Matt Rule. And here's what he goes on to say, quoting him again. Job one, win enough games to make it into some stupid bowl game. Don't worry about the big boys because you aren't one of them. Well, really? Feinbaum went on to say, we saw what you did in the NFL. You were a complete disaster in Carolina. I think this is funny. You somehow got this job at Nebraska and you were talking like you belong at the table like you are Ohio State or Georgia. You don't, Matt. Just try to win maybe 6 games, quit choking big games on the final day, and leave the punditry to the professionals. Close quotes. That's what Feinbaum had to say about that. I'm glad somebody said something about it because I don't know. I honestly don't know where this came from Matt Rule. Okay, if any conference should have a mandate of having 4 teams in this new playoff format, it's the SEC, because much as I hate to admit it, and I'm sure you folks will agree with me if you know anything about college football, and it's been this way for decades and decades and decades. The SEC has always been the better of the 2 conferences when it comes to the SEC and the Big Ten in football. It's always been that way. It's that way now. And I venture to say it probably always will be that way. It's just a fact of life. It's just the way it is. So much for Matt Rule. How many games are they going to win this year? Are you going to be one of those 4 teams, Matt? I know what prompted him to say this, but remember too, I thought very comical. Wish I could. I don't even remember the UCLA head coach's name right now. I'm trying to think of what it was. It'll come to me once I get off the air here. But he left me in stitches from his presentation of what he had to say about how he felt about being in the Big Ten now. He was very animated, very enthused. If you have a chance, check that out. Okay, that's that. We're about done here, aren't we? Yeah, I think so. Hope they have a good crowd tonight at Comerica. I'm sure they will, to watch what some speculate could be Terry Scooble's last start for the Tigers. I don't think it will be. They could be pitching next Thursday. But anyway, a little after 6 o'clock tonight. That's about it. Don't forget every Saturday morning here locally from 9 to 10 on WCSR 92.1 FM, Time Out with Andy Brown. And I will talk to you again on Tuesday. Until then, remember, folks. Oh, and again, go to your calendar, mark down September the 14th, Brankbeck Chevrolet from 10 to 2. By all means, be there. You must be there. You'll have a great time. Bring the kids. A real fun day there. But yeah, before I sign off, like I always say, remember, regardless of what your political proclivity may be, please treat each other with respect. And until I see you Tuesday, have a good evening. So long, everybody.